Hi everyone, welcome to another webisode of The Good Doctor. Today I have the pleasure of being in the company of Dr. Hassan Al-Tamimi. He's a cardiologist from Health Bay Polyclinic. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you.
So today's topic of conversation is cholesterol. This word has been used and abused. The food industry wants to use it to scare people into getting these diet pack food. The pharmaceutical industry uses it to sell more pharmaceutical products. But it's not that bad, is it?
Well, I think you're right. Cholesterol, I think we should put things in perspective. We need cholesterol. And cholesterol is produced by the body for the health of our cells. And most of our hormones, their structure is based on cholesterol. And our body produces about 70% of the cholesterol. And with our diet and food, we contribute about 20%.
So the body produces 70% of the cholesterol that it uses. For our audience, why is cholesterol important? What does it do?
As I say, the cells, particularly the cell membrane, is made of cholesterol. The transport of hormones, particularly the steroids, the sex hormones, are made of cholesterol.
Okay.
The problem is when you have too much of cholesterol, then you have the problem. And in general, our body sort of recycles cholesterol to the needs and subsequently excreted via the liver as a bile acids. Now, the problem is our body ability to synthesize cholesterol depends on how many receptors, and this is the key element, they are on the liver and how much they can deal with the cholesterol. Some people, they have absolutely no receptors, and these have the strong family history of high cholesterol, where the body cannot get rid of the cholesterol. The cholesterol has three components. LDL, which is the low density lipoprotein, which we call the bad cholesterol.
How do we get that, doctor?
Now,
where does that come from?
Now that is the cholesterol that is produced when we get particularly in the food, the trans fats that are usually in the margarines and what have you, red meat, and literally fatty substances that we eat. Now these are, supposedly they go to the liver, and if the liver cannot synthesize this fat, then they send it off, that circulates in the body. And the excess of this, we can synthesize a lot of this bad cholesterol and get rid of it. But when you ingest over the limits, and you take too much of fat, then the body cannot deal with it. And therefore, the other component to this, the good cholesterol. Good cholesterol takes away the bad cholesterol and gets rid of it. So some people genetically have low HDL, so they have the good cholesterol, low high density lipoprotein, and therefore it by itself is a risk factor. And this is purely genetic, number one. And then you can improve your HDL by exercise, by some alcohol, particularly red wine, in moderation. And that by itself, when you have high level of HDL, the risk of having a bad cholesterol will be neutralized by the levels of good cholesterol.
Okay, so, understood. Good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, it's only when we eat above a certain point is where it accumulates, and therefore we go to the doctor and the doctor gives us this number. Now, we see this number, I think the standard is 200, and I have no clue what that really means, but it's 200. Is that a standard formula for everyone?
That's a very important issue. I think people everybody should know their cholesterol, but then you should know your cholesterol and its other numbers. Total number of cholesterol means nothing, because total cholesterol is HDL, good cholesterol, plus LDL, bad cholesterol, plus 20% of triglyceride. So this number, so if you have high levels of HDL and low level of LDL, and your total cholesterol is high, you think, oh my God, this is horrible. But on the other hand, it's not.
And that's where people panic.
Absolutely. I think, and the second important thing that we need to talk about is These numbers means nothing if they are not put in the context of who is the person that has these tests.
Right.
I mean, these levels are done in conjunction with other risk factors that the person has. If you are young and you may have a cholesterol of 300, I don't think that by itself is a big issue. Mm-hmm. But if you have a bypass surgery and you are 50 and you have strong family history, then these numbers means something completely different. So we are treating patients and people, not numbers.
That's a great point. I want to then ask you, let's assume that someone has a high cholesterol level and is a smoker, doesn't exercise enough. What would be your prescription?
Fair enough. I think for any person who have high cholesterol, you should initially start by adjusting lifestyle. Mm-hmm. I think we should not jump into medication right from the start. Because medications, even though they lower bad cholesterol, they have many side effects. Mm-hmm. So whoever is the patient that you're dealing with, I think you should talk about diet, lifestyle, and I do not believe in strict diets. I think moderation is a good thing, because at the end of the day, if you go with a strict diet, the rebound effect is not acceptable, not to the patient, because it really interferes with their pleasures of life.
People start to starve themselves. I mean, the minute they hear that they're high cholesterol level, all of a sudden they go on this water diet, lettuce diet, these silly diets, these packaged foods. That's not what you're subscribing, is it?
Absolutely. And I think they may have lower cholesterol, but they will be very depressed people.
That's a great point. Well, thank you very much for this information. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. I certainly learned a lot. Cholesterols by themselves are not a bad thing. It's the lifestyle, the totality of the lifestyle that you maintain that can harm you. And guess what? As the good doctor just said, with slight modifications, you can fix it and live a healthy, happy, prosperous life. Thanks for watching The Good Doctor on eZeLiving.com, where you can find anything and everything lifestyle.